It is the start of the title defence for the machine James Wade, the winner of the UK Open last year, winning the title for a third time in 3 different decades. But his 2 previous victories were followed by him going out in the last 64 in the next year. He has not mounted a stern title defence as yet. Peter Manley did for him after the first win. Colin Jaws Lloyd did for him after the second. Can Scuba Steve Lennon make it a trio of last 64 exits for the machine, having won the title 12 months ago? The Irishman, formerly known as the Shamrock, has already played 1 game to get here. He beat Ryan Harrington by 6 legs to 5. He was 5-3 down in that game. It looks like he survived some match darts. Difficult to tell how many.
First leg, it's Steve to throw first. Game on.
James doesn't look like he's in a very good mood tonight.
As opposed to?
81.
Sometimes he looks a bit more jovial, but tonight he just looks a bit cheesed off maybe. But if Steve Lennon does want to join that group of people who have eliminated James after winning this tournament, he'll be the first person that wasn't a PDC world #1 at some point. Because Manley and Jaws both have found that mark.
96.
Funnily enough, something that James has never done in his career. They talk a lot about him never being world champion, but he's never been world #1 as well. And that's why I put him in the same sort of ilk as Phil Mickelson. A left-hander in his sport, regarded as one of the greatest of all time, but never been world #1.
140.
Yeah, stuck behind arguably the greatest. I mean, I don't think there's much argument with Phil Taylor, but golf is your domain, Nicholson. I would assume. Is Tiger your greatest golfer?
128.
Was it Jack Nicklaus or somebody?
I'm a Nicklaus guy.
Right.
He was an 18-time major champion, but he was second in 19 other majors. And that's what swings it for me. But with Wade, he's had Taylor first, then Van Gogh, and now he's got Wright and Price to try and usurp for the rankings summit. It's just a barrage of brilliance in his career.
94. Steve, you require 84.
Well, he leaves himself on tops. Lennon would love a couple of goes at double 12. So just have him, Steve. Or one. Don't need the other one. Beautiful stuff.
Second leg is James to throw first. Game on.
James Wade said the other week that, a lot of new darts fans, they only know me as that moaning bloke with a beard. But he's countering that narrative. He's had a shave. Still moaning, but, baby steps.
When did he have a shave?
140.
Well, he's not as beardy as he was. He looked like he lived under a bridge for a while.
I was going to say, if he's just had a shave, he needs to get a new razor.
140.
He'd gone full Michael Smith for a spell there, early weeks of the Premier League.
Yeah, he did look a bit haggard. This is a bit more accomplished. He used to say that he wouldn't have a pair of dart shoes unless they cost 200 quid.
He's given me great lectures about shoes, and he offered to buy me some shoes. I mean, it never materialised. I mean, I don't want a 300 quid pair of bright red shoes. I'm not a clown.
Or a pair of crimson trousers.
No, not the crimson trousers either.
There's only one person who should be wearing crimson trousers in darts, and that is John O'Shea. Because he's the Joker.
Well, Steve Lennon.
97.
130.
Steve, 130.
Bit of a chance here. Ooh, lovely. This is good. Double 5. Oh, didn't quite give it enough, Steve Lennon.
70.
Just needed a bit more oxygen in the tank. Oh, that's a quintessential Wadey 70 out. Anything and everything to leave tops 10s and 12s. You know what? I'm not saying this in a nasty way, but he makes the game borderline boring because it's always tops 10s and 12s. It always has been. But the one thing he has done over the last 15 years is he's learned to count. Because at the start of his career, his counting was atrocious.
Well, he's just got a very set way of playing the game. If he is on X, he will throw out Y. And it's always the same. He doesn't do anything to surprise you other than be really, really, really good. And that, no longer, after 15 years of doing this, is surprising.
And he has evolved. One of the reasons why he's been a top 10 player pretty much every day for the last 18 years is the fact that he has constantly evolved. And for me, the biggest evolution of his game is that tactically, he's sound now. He was the butt of many jokes 15 years ago. Like we talk about De Sousa and Clayton right now, we were talking about Wadey being a bad tactician. He's not anymore. He's spot on. It's going to be one in tops. Will it be the leg? Plan B. And Plan B is just as good as Plan A usually.
That's a breaker throw. I was listening to an interview with Nathan Aspinall on the Weekly Darts cast the other day, and he was reminiscing about his UK Open win here a few years ago. You'll be seeing Nathan Aspinall kick off his campaign in our final game on this board against Callan Ridge. Looks an absolute cracker. This could be special though, because Steve Lennon has started pretty impressively here. But Aspinall said that the game that sticks out in his mind wasn't really the semi-final or the final or anything. It was taking on Steve Lennon in the earlier rounds, where he found himself 7-3 down. And he came out after the break and played some of the best darts he said he's ever played to turn it around and win the game. Steve Lennon kicking off with 5 perfect darts at the start of this leg as he looks to break back and level the match.
You talked about Wadey being a winner of the UK Open in 3 different decades.
91.
I'm pretty sure he's the only person who's won it in 2 venues. And this is not one of them. Isn't that strange? He's won an MK and Bolton, but he's never won at Minehead.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
So if he wins this week, as Lennon misses the ball for the 9th, he could be the only player ever, prospectively, to win it in 3 venues. Okay, climbs the ladder, hurdles to number 12, hurdle to 20, 3-1 Wade. Predictable stuff.
Good luck, Steve, to throw first. Game on.
We've been coming to Minehead since 2014. The last winner of the UK Open back in Bolton was Philip Taylor against Andy Hamilton. Then we came to Minehead and Adrian Lewis won that one against Terry Jenkins. And then we had a couple of years where it was MVG versus Wright in the final.
Yeah, Phil Taylor, never a winner of the UK Open at this particular venue. Did win the Players' Championship finals here.
Kim Hybrett's in the final, didn't he?
Yeah, when Jesus turned up and was escorted out of the building. You remember that?
60.
Oh, weird, he just gave it the old Mensah Suljovic swan dive.
He did, didn't he? That was very Mensah. Speaking of Mensah, he's playing Kim Hybrex over on the outside boards. And looks like a bit of a slog. 6-5 Mensah in that one.
Yeah, some close games going on out there. 8-7 Labanauskas against Ricky Evans. 7-5 Suljovic against Hybrecht. Kyvenhoven Whitlock 7-7. Double 18 Lennon. It's got a ring to it. And that is beautiful. That almost reminds me of the first time I ever played Steve Lennon, because he walloped me and he hit 121 out 3 times, 3 different ways. It's like he was rubbing it in.
Clayton Enchez, a 10-5 winner over Florian Hempel. Willie O'Connor has beaten Jason Heaver by 10 legs to 7. So there's a couple more players confirmed in the last 32. The round of 32 played tomorrow afternoon, round of 16 tomorrow evening. Quarterfinals Sunday afternoon, semi-finals and final on Sunday evening. 100 grand in ranking money to the winner.
Tell you what, Willie O'Connor, 101.29 average. winning in a 17-leg match.
Not bad.
That is encouraging.
Yeah, not bad. I hadn't spotted that. Very, very impressive from the Magpie. World Cup partner of Steve Lennon, of course. They had that incredible run to the final where they both produced some excellent darts over the course of the tournament. And Steve Lennon is playing some really good stuff here. He's looking set to break James Wade, get this match level at 3 apiece, and to be honest, you can't really say he doesn't deserve it.
Steve, you require 53.
I agree. Staying with James early here. Tops. Very, very tidy. This game is about to get good, but if it does go really tight towards the end, you would always back James, because throughout the course of the last 15 years, he has been one of the best closers in the game.
Right, hang on. I know we're 6 legs into this game. This is a pretty good indicator, but I'm just looking at my scoreboard, and I think something's wrong. I'm just going to back. Well, it's not. I don't think it's broken, no matter how much I hit it, because it says that James Wade is averaging 105. Steve Lennon is averaging 119 right now. Is it?
Yeah, my tablet's saying exactly the same.
Okay. I'm not absolutely deranged. I'm not hallucinating. I knew it was good. You can watch it, and this is good. I didn't realise it was that good.
So what you're saying is it's 3-3, and James Wade is averaging 14 less than his opponent.
Yeah. Yeah.
How has he made a career from this? How is it sustainable? It doesn't make sense.
If we get to the first break here and Steve Lennon is still averaging 120 and it's 5-all, I mean, I don't know if it's possible to be averaging 120 after 10 legs and feel demoralised. But if anybody is going to do it to you, it is that man there, James Wade.
Well, I've spoken to many people in Ireland, and they have said that the future of Irish darts is Steve Lennon. But that was before we found Keane Barry. So what we're seeing is the bullseye.
59.
Cast a shadow over that one. And if Lennon finds this, hello.
Well, he might be waving goodbye to this leg. James Wade will go single 5 for double 10.
I love how someone in the crowd actually told him that as well. 5 for double 10, as if he was going to go some other way. You know, I'm going to go 13 double 6 for a change.
Yeah. We've already discussed how James Wade has a very set way of playing the game. He's not going to take requests from the punters.
100.
I will say that he does look better for having the shave. It's almost like he's got the same grade on his clippers as Steve Lennon.
Yeah, but Steve Lennon uses them over the entirety of his head. It's like a tennis ball. It's like a faint covering of fur.
I think if Steve Lennon wins this tournament, he's going to have to show up in Barnsley or Hildesheim sometime in the next few weeks wearing a scuba suit.
I think you should go for it.
100.
Gerwyn Price currently taking on Krzysztof Ratajski on the main stage. A reminder, Gerwyn Price needs to go and reach the final minimum if he is to stay on as world number 1 and stop Peter Wright taking that from him.
In this sport, we've gotten used to seeing a world number 1 hold their tenure for about 7 years. We get a world number 1 every time Haley's Comet goes by, but I get the feeling that maybe we're going to get a swift change of world number 1, maybe a few times this year.
Quite possibly. Well, James Wade, as things stand, is looking at 80 to go 5-3 up. He's provisionally the world number 3 right now. Michael Van Gogh dropping down to number 4. Double 10 for James Wade. And this is absolutely clinical stuff from James Wade.
I hate to say this, but he's only averaging 105. 9 less than his opponent.
Yeah, poor really, isn't it?
Bemusing.
140.
Isn't it good to see Steve Lennon playing so well?
You know what? There was a good 2 or 3 years when he was first on the scene And I thought, well, he could go on and do amazing things. And it feels like his career's kind of stalled, to be honest.
Do you know what? I would stand anywhere in Ireland right now with a flag saying, I believe in Steve Lennon. Because the technique is there. The temperament has never been in question. Incredible temperament. He's got great poise, great focus. I believe in Steve Lennon still, and I still think he's going to be a winner.
I would like him to be. I think he's a very talented player.
And I want to see you interview him.
55.
I would love that. Maybe he'll do a little jig. Maybe it'll coax out a livelier version of Steve Lennon.
Highly unlikely.
No, probably not. Yeah, just video the World Championship. Very good, Darius. Be a bit of that.
That's just what he's like. He wouldn't say boot any goose around the lakes here at Minehead. If he got scared by a ghost, he wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, you don't want to say anything to the waterfowl around here. They are massive and very, very aggressive, I'll tell you that.
96.
Yeah, don't leave the chips out because they'll steal them all. 109 for 5-4. I'd love this game to be level at 5-5. But if Wadey's got anything to do with it, and from this position, he will fancy at least 6-4 up.
Oh, look, without doubt. I mean, he might still have an eye on 7-3 here because double top for a 160. Oh, James Wade is 6-3 up on Steve Lennon, who is playing some of the darts of his life. If this were a Pro Tour game, James Wade has just won it 6-3 against a man averaging 112.
This is very reminiscent of that game between Devon Peterson and Gedwin Price in the Summer Series 2 years ago. And I think Chris Dobie had a game, didn't he, with Rob Cross at the back end of last year when he picked up a title. The semi-final game, they both averaged close to 110. This is a sickening standard.
140.
This is going to annihilate Steve Lennon's previous highest TV average, and he's only won 3 of the first 9 legs.
42.
This is demoralising.
He's trying to fix it by scoring very low scores.
Drag it down, yeah. Look, if I'm going to lose, I don't want to lose with 113 average. That'll be embarrassing.
No, what he might do inadvertently, if he starts losing form, he'll get James to lose more form and then somehow snag him in.
Look, the thing is with James Wade, you can see it. When things are too easy, he takes his foot off the gas. And Steve Lennon, all James Wade sees opponents are pacemakers. They dictate how good he's got to be to win.
Well, weird, he's trying to be the Yoko to Lennon, isn't he? There's that song, isn't there? You could be my Yoko Ono.
Go on then, sing it.
I'd rather not.
Okay,
nobody wants me to either.
You do it in the break, that's fine. Because it might be coming up. Double 10, it is coming up. It is coming up. And James Wade is mounting an incredible title defence here. Steve Lennon is averaging in excess of 111. And James Wade is somehow 7-3 up. The UK Open champion, having had early exits in his 2 previous title defences of this trophy. Well, it doesn't look like he's going to have an early exit here. He is 3 legs away from a spot in the next round. Well, welcome back to the conclusion of this one between Steve Lennon and James Wade. I mentioned in the first half of this game that Steve Lennon was 7-3 up on Nathan Aspinall the year that the Asp went on to lift the title. And Nathan came back after the break, said he played some of the best darts he has ever played to turn that game around, and then he went on to lift the title. Well, Steve Lennon has played some of the best darts he has ever played in the first half of this match, and he's still 7-3 down. Where else do you go after that? He can't go and average 130 in the second half of the game, can he? He is averaging almost 112, and he has only won 30% of the legs against James Wade, who is being the most Wadey of all the Wades in snaffling up every opportunity that comes his way.
Well, there you go, Steve Lennon. He's just back in the maximums. He's going to try and get his average up towards 115 and probably still lose, which is incredible. But If you look at some of the outside boards, there's a really interesting story to be told on board 4. Klaassen against Devon Peterson. They're 4 each. And there's 13 between their averages.
95.
Well, I never. For the second time today, Jelle Klaassen is averaging around that 103, 104 mark. Interesting stuff. I've got to tell you about an incredible game of darts where Darius Labanauskas and Ricky Evans were doing battle, and Labanauskas was all over Ricky Evans like a rash. 8-2 up and dominating.
97.
Ricky Evans then wins 5 legs in a row to make it 8-7. Darius nicks a leg to go 9-7, and Ricky wins the last 3. There are 6 legs in those 2 spells from Ricky Evans where Darius was either on a double or already had darts, and he's missed a load of darts to win it in the last leg. Madness. Ricky Evans is a very lucky man, but he's in Saturday's action. Can he capitalise upon that good fortune?
Lennon's got an uphill task here.
140.
Trying to beat Wade from this position is like trying to climb up an ice glacier with slippy shoes on. 5. Interesting play on the 65, I must say. But it's an effective one. 1 down, and he's within 3. So a very hot start from Scuba Steve. Mensah-Suljovic is very close to victory against Kim Huybrecht in a rematch of the 2016 International Darts Open final, which Huybrecht let slip. But it could well go to 9-all, that one. Suljovic is on 1-3-2 to win it, with Huybrecht on double 16. James Wade can't afford to take his foot off the pedal, and we know he's a petrol head, so he knows how to keep his foot down, that's for sure. But Lennon is back in again with that effortless throw.
Well, we mentioned the temperament of Steve Lennon, how it's always been perfect. It's going to have to be to have any chance of turning this round. But my word, he's giving it a go, isn't he? Down to a finish, the 1-2-1, which he has already taken out. The Kim Huybrecht-Mensah-Suljovic game is into a last leg decider.
And they both started with a 140 in leg number 19. But Wade chokes up that 180, and Lennon needs another 1-2-1. This time, he needs the bull. Oh, Lennon's on it now. What a game. Loving this. He's got two different ways. Can he get a third at some point? He's broken Wade to make it 7-5.
You know what? When they announced what games were on the second stage, I really did think that Adrian Lewis, Ryan Searle looked a more exciting pick than this, and how wrong I was. Because this is unexpectedly brilliant. James Wade doing clinical James Wade things, and Steve Lennon, who looks like he has been inspired by the gods.
The first time I've ever seen him really grit his teeth in a match. He's noted for just being really placid. The fact of the matter is, he's digging deep here, and he's finding stuff. He can really use that dart to sneak one in.
140.
Oh, very good. And Mensah-Suljovic is 110-9. Kim Huybrecht is on 121 after 9 darts and doesn't even get a look at it. 12 darter from Suljovic. He's into tomorrow.
57.
Oh, what a way to win it, Mensah-Suljovic. We've not seen him that regularly. When we have seen him, it's been intermittent whether it's been any good. But my word, when he is good, he is world class. The 170 will not go. Steve Lennon is going to get a chance at the 102. And with the way that he's playing, you expect him to pick up a treble in one of his first 2 darts and get a dart for the leg.
He's going to get a dart at double 16. He's just going to keep coming. Steve Lennon is not done with. 3 straight, and Wade has got company.
James Wade is barreling along in his little Jurassic Park tour car, and he's looking in the rearview mirror, and Steve Lennon's face on the body of a massive Tyrannosaurus Rex is getting closer and closer and closer. And it's not doing that big sort of Jurassic Park sort of scream, it's just going, "Excuse me there, James, I'm catching up with you now." But it's happening. Steve Lennon, I didn't think he could get better than the stuff he produced in the first half of this match. And he hasn't really. He's just carried on averaging 111. It is mind-boggling.
When a player finds out how good they can play, it opens up all sorts of possibilities. Got to get 2 treble 20s to leave the finish. Oh, it comes up short. I really thought he was going to get it there. And Wadey gets some breathing room for the first time in what feels like quite a while. Has to use the 19s now. So he leaves 170 eventually. But Wade should be 8-6 up. Oh, it's a great dart, and he needed that. It was a rot stopper.
Yeah, his first leg since the break. 2 up and 2 away. But are you ever really safe when you're playing a man averaging 110 over 14 legs? I'm not sure.
We've made a lot about what Steve Lennon has done, but James has never been known as a player to stick in massive averages in long format games. He's always been that kind of person who maybe in a World Championship quarter-final would have a real bruising 97 average. Every now and again in a Premier League he'll stick in a big one, or maybe in a Players' Championship match, but this is 14 legs and he's averaging 105.
Yeah, look, it's no surprise to see James Wade do this, but he will, if he's got the option of doing so, he will 94 average you to death. If he only needs a 94 average, he'll throw a 94 average. It's not a conscious decision. It's just if you're not pushing him, he does take his foot off the gas. If you do throw ridiculous... I mean, the Premier League final where Phil Taylor hit 2 9-darters against him, Phil only won it by 2 legs. Wade was right there with him.
And he almost hit a third.
Yeah.
58.
If you haven't seen that match for a while, because it's almost 12 years old now, re-watch it and just look at the things that happened either side of the 9-darters, because James was playing superbly.
Go and watch the other night in the Premier League, the final with Gerwyn Price. I think James Wade should have won that game. He had darts to win more legs than Gerwyn Price did, despite the 9-darter, despite the 107 average for the night. And he's given himself a chance here. And that might be the end of the game, effectively. Because Steve Lennon, who has been absolutely spectacular and came roaring back after the break with 3 consecutive legs, has now lost back-to-back legs. James Wade has the darts, and the defending champion is throwing for a spot in the next round and a 10-6 win.
I told you he was a good closer. Maybe not as clinical as he once was, but he can still draw on that experience. And I think he's had enough of this resistance of Lennon. And if he does lose by 10 legs to 6, 10 legs to 7, Steve Lennon should leave Minehead with his head held very, very high.
He's been absolutely brilliant in this contest. And right, his average has dropped a few points. But it's still at more than 106 right now. His highest ever averages on TV, Steve Lennon. He's at 102. That was at the Players' Championship finals in a best-of-11 match. He averaged 100 at the Grand Slam in a group game, again, short format match. They're the only 2 times he's averaged a ton on TV. Here, I mean, if this game had ended after 10 legs, he'd have averaged 112 almost. He's still at 106 right now. It has been a brilliant display from Steve Lennon. But he is running to James Wade, just being really, really James Wadey.
Well, Lennon is firmly on my radar for the coming events. That's for sure. Because Wade, who leaves 61, will utilise the treble 7 when he comes back to try and win this by 10 legs to 6. But this has got me thinking about Lennon for the rest of the year and what is possible. As for now, it's all about Wade.
Well, to continue this clinical finishing.
41.
Well, it's a rare miss from James Wade in this game. It's only the 5th dart at double he's missed in the entire match. Is he going to get any more in this leg? He is, because Steve Lennon misses the big number. There have been so few mistakes in this match from either man.
75.
That's the biggest mistake he's made. But Wade hasn't missed double 10 very much. A superb performance where his average is over 104. His opponent, yes, has a better average. It's his biggest average in a televised match, but it's a losing average. And the defending champion shows a little bit of gumption there. For the first time after winning the UK Open, he will grace the last 32. He will hope to play twice tomorrow. But we have only got one more match for you for the rest of tonight. We are speeding along. It's not even 9 o'clock local time. But the man you will see next is Callan Rids. And when you see him, you better have your cup of tea made, because he's very, very fast. Don't go far.